The 7th annual MISL All-Star Game is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Dodge, a performance revolution, an American revelation. By your neighborhood True Value hardware stores. And by Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get Met. It pays. Hello, everyone. I'm John Paul Della Camera. Alongside me, Shep Messing. We're here to bring you the 7th annual Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Classic from Chicago Stadium. The two clubs, East and West, have met 6 times previous, and Shep, the West has won 5 out of those 6. What can we look forward to tonight?
Well, JP, I think we're going to get a look at a sport and a league that's on the verge of national prominence, and the players feel it. I think for the fan tuning in tonight, they're not only going to see individual brilliance, but they're going to see more of an intense game than you usually see in an all-star match.
Some great stars on both teams. We'll be back to take a look at who those players are when we return after this. This Bud's for all. Sting of the Major Indoor Soccer League present the 7th annual MISL All-Star Classic. Now let's meet the players and coaches who have been chosen by their peers to represent their respective divisions. First, in the West. Number 7, Steve Jungle, recently acquired by the Tacoma Stars. Steve is playing in his 6th All-Star game. He received 86 votes, the most for any player in either division. At the time of balloting, Steve led the league in both scoring and assists. Steve is the league leader in many offensive categories. Number 20, Bronco Segota, plays with the San Diego Sockers and is one of indoor soccer's best scorers. He's currently 2nd in the Major Indoor Soccer League. He received 85 votes in the balloting, 2nd highest in both divisions. Bronco Segota, number 20. Number 6, Chico Borja, represents Wichita in his 1st All-Star game. Chico was a member of the 1984 U.S. Olympic team and has led the Major Indoor Soccer League in scoring much of this season. Despite injuries, he finished last season with an impressive 54 points. Number 11, Kim Rundvedt, another representative from the Wings, is playing in his 5th All-Star Classic. He currently is the highest scorer among all MISL defenders and ranks high in the list of all Major Indoor Soccer League scorers. Kim Rundvedt, number 11. Number 2, Gino Schiraldi. The defender from the Kansas City Comets is appearing for the first time in this All-Star game. He is having his best year ever with an impressive 20 points on 12 goals and 8 assists at balloting time. Gino can also claim the most games ever played by a Comet, 173. Number 30, Slobo Ilievsky, St. Louis personable goalkeeper, is playing in his 5th consecutive All-Star game. Slobo holds the league record in goals against average and has title to every existing team record for goalkeeping among the Steamers. Number 30, Slobo Ilievsky. And now here's my partner, Shep Messing, with the remainder of the Western Division All-Star lineup.
Gene Wilrich, San Diego's midfielder, was 3rd in soccer scoring last year. Alan Mayer from Kansas City, currently number 2 among MISL goalkeepers. Batata, called a Little Potato, the LA forward, is playing in his 3rd All-Star Classic. Gus McCallis, a defender from LA, was last year's Laser MVP. Brian Quinn helped the Sockers to a league championship last year. Eric Rasmussen, at ballot time, he scored 51 points to lead the Wichita Wings. Kevin Crow from San Diego, Defender of the Year for his amazing 113 blocks. Fernando Clavillo from San Diego, 2nd in the MISL with 2 shorthanded goals. Preki from Tacoma, an amazing 21 goals and 15 assists. Tony Bellinger, the Steamers defender, is the only player to appear in all 7 All-Star games.
And the coaches for the West, Ron Newman. Soccer's championship coach, has the best winning percentage in the MISL. He led the Sockers to 2 Major Indoor Soccer League and 2 North American Soccer League titles. Ron has been named Coach of the Year no less than 4 times. Ron Newman, he guides the West. And his assistant coach, Roy Turner, Wichita's popular leader, was last year's winning All-Star head coach. Roy is the only coach in the history of the Wichita Wings, a team that he has taken to the playoffs in each year of their existence. Roy Turner of Wichita, the assistant coach of the West. And now, the competition. The stars representing the Major Indoor Soccer League's Eastern Division. Number 9 is Tattoo. The Dallas forward received 81 votes in the balloting, the highest total in the Eastern Division. This is his second All-Star game in his second year in the league. Tattoo finished last season with 59 goals and 29 assists, and he was the MVP for the Sidekicks. Number 10, Stan Stamenkovic, has been named most valuable player in his last 3 appearances in the All-Star Classic. In 4 All-Star games, he has scored 8 goals and added 7 assists. There is little question why he is called the Magician, and little question why he was Baltimore's MVP of a season ago. Number 4, Jerry Gray. Chicago's midfielder is playing in his second All-Star Classic. He received 44 votes. His season last year was cut short by injury, but in 24 games, he managed an amazing 18 goals and 40 assists. Number 4, Chicago's Jerry Gray. Number 5, Mike Stankovic. This Baltimore Blast defender has been chosen for his 4th All-Star game. Last year, Mike scored the highest point total for a defender, 59 points. He is considered by many to be the best two-way player in the Major Indoor Soccer League. Mike Stankovic, number 5. Number 22, his teammate, Bruce Savage of the Baltimore Blast, is playing in his second All-Star game. Bruce has a unique streak going. He has not received a penalty in 70 consecutive games. He leads the team in blocks and was a member of the 1984 USA Olympic team. Number 22, Bruce Savage. Number 31, David Bursich. Pittsburgh Spirit goalkeeper had a goals against average of 3.82 in his first 20 games this year. David tied the MISL shutout record with 2 this year and has been named Defensive Player of the Week an unprecedented 4 times. David Bursich, number 31. And now here's my partner, Shep Messing, with the rest of the Eastern Division All-Star team.
Neil Roberts. Neil is the first defender ever to win Offensive Player of the Week honors. Karl-Heinz Granitza, he is a Sting's all-time leading scorer. Tino Lettieri, he was leading the MISL with 327 saves. Dwight Lodoagas, last year he led his fellow defensemen with 34 points. Ali Kazamani, Cleveland's midfielder, last year's Rookie of the Year. Peter Ward, last season it went like this: 24 games, 18 goals, 19 assists. Godfrey Ingram, through 23 games, he scored 24 points. Victor Moreland, the Dallas defender, leading the Sidekicks in block shots. Richard Chinapu, 12 points in 13 playoff games last year. Tim Whitman, another All-Star supplied by Baltimore in his first All-Star game.
And now the coaches for the Eastern Conference All-Stars. Head coach Kenny Cooper led the East to victory, their only time in the 1984 Classic. He was named Coach of the Year for the 83-84 MISL season. Kenny has taken the Baltimore Blast to the Eastern Division title every year for the last 3 years. The coach of the East, Ken Cooper. His assistant, Willie Roy. Willie has won 2 divisional indoor titles at Chicago, and last season he brought 20 home victories to the people in the Windy City. The Chicago Sting, Willie Roy. And we'll be back to kick off the 7th annual Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Classic in just a moment. 7th annual Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Classic. Our senior referee today, Bill Maxwell, Kelly Mock, and Marty Templin will be the alternate officials, with Kelly Mock working inside the penalty box. Starting out, David Bursich in goal for the East. He'll be joined defensively by Mike Stankovic and Bruce Savage of Baltimore. Tattoo is up front as this game gets underway with Peter Ward and Jerry Gray. The ball played back to Slobo Ilievsky of the West. Going long, but it's headed the other way by Stankovic for Tattoo. Now Segota for his former teammate Steve Jungle. Jungle now with the Tacoma Stars. You'll see him on a future ESPN telecast against Kansas City. Right side, Borja. Segota by the box, but good marking there by Jerry Gray, and Bursich makes the easy play for Mike Stankovic of the Baltimore Blast. Stankovic coming back the other way. Peter Ward in his first All-Star game. A lot of newcomers in the All-Stars this season, Shep.
Well, certainly for the Eastern team, they have 13 players played in their first All-Star game. That's an indication of a big turnover in the East. And certainly they're the underdog going into this game. For no other reason, you have to pick out one. The loss of Stan Stamejkovic with a knee injury, pulling out of the game last Sunday. An unfortunate factor for the Eastern squad.
Peter Ward from Jerry Gray. You mentioned Stan Stamejkovic out with a knee injury, so at least we know for a fact he will not be the MVP this year. He's won it 3 straight years. Tattooed tried to find an open man, Peter Ward, but it's broken up by the West. They'll be in the predominantly black uniforms tonight, and the East will be in the gold. Gene Woolrich from his former teammate, or from his present teammate, Clavillo, broken up by Jerry Gray. You'll hear a lot more applause when a guy like Granitza has the ball now. He plays for the Chicago Sting. Karl-Heinz, a shot too high off the glass. Godfrey Ingram in his first All-Star game after it, but it's Eric Rasmussen who'll pick it up. Eric plays for the Wichita Wings. Chicago Stadium, we're taking a look back in All-Star history. The West has been the dominant team, as Shep Messick had mentioned before. They have won 5 and lost 1, and they won their first 4, despite the East having players like Shep Messick and Steve Jungle. Jungle will put it in play. Quinn fans on it, and then it's cleared out by Casamani. Sam Bick will pick it up for the West. For Jungle. Knocked away. Good defensive play that time by Dallas Sidekicks defender Victor Moreland. Dwight Lodevegas of Minnesota. Up for Granitza, trying to flick it on for Dumbovic, but it doesn't work. Here's Neil Roberts of the Sting. Dumbovic is wide open if he can get it to him. Right in front, a save by Slobo, but it hit off Sammy Beck, not Drago Dumbovic.
Great opportunity. The West got caught on a line change. Neil Roberts took that ball, unselfishly tried to put it to the back post, and the West comes up big on the save.
Brian Quinn of the San Diego Sockers wanted that one to go to Preki. Preki's an interesting story, just 22 years old in his first year indoors, showing signs that he's going to be a star in this league for years to come. Borja on the intercept. Dumbovic blocks him, so does Timmy Whitman, but it's kept alive. Schiraldi to Borja, off the glass, wide, picked up by Dumbovic. For Richard Chinapu, also playing in his first All-Star game for David Bursic. Bursic, the MISL Defensive Player of the Week, and unprecedented 4 times this year. He plays for the Pittsburgh Spirit. Peter Ward over midfield, chased by Borja. Tattoo, looking to make the play, leaves it. Ward, the shot, nice, right-footed save by Slobo. Neil Roberts looking for it. It's still a scoreless tie from Chicago. Borja on the run, he's got Preki on the right. Ball knocked away by Roberts. And the East trying to bring it back. On a quick line change, big Mike Stankovic. Tattoo breaks the other way. Stankovic for Tattoo, trying to backheel. Couldn't get enough on it. Slobo looks long.
And once again, the East catches the West on a line change. This time, Chinapu making a run on the left. Stankovic electing to pass, and the East is putting all kinds of pressure on. The West playing with a lot of confidence, and here they are on a breakaway.
Bursic will knock it away up the middle of the field, and the East will take over once more in a scoreless tie. Tattoo leads the league in goals scored. He's crunched, and a foul called. Jungle and Clavillo made a sandwich shot of Tattoo.
Well, Clavillo in with a hard tackle. You can't allow a player like Tattoo to break unmolested down the middle, and that was a good foul for Clavillo to take.
Clavillo, the MISL's Defensive Player of the Week this past week. Dumbovic, the Offensive Player. In the box for Tattoo. Turns, fires, blocked, and a nice play. Kevin Crow, who had the most blocks in the MISL last year. The West bringing it back. Gene Woolrich on the go. Good recovery by Bruce Savage of Baltimore. Kicked out, kept alive, and a quick Segota shot is blocked. Crow will settle for Bronco Segota. Cuts right, broken up. Savage again for Tattoo. If Tattoo scores a goal, he throws that jersey in the crowd. Doug Burr, who's the president of the Sting, say they have 3 jerseys for Tattoo. If he gets more than that, tough luck. Steve Jungle the other way, the captain of the West. Karl-Heinz Granitza captains the East. Segota, good run. Gives it up for Woolrich. Gene Woolrich plays it to the outside. There's nobody home.
JP, you talked about earlier keeping players together who have played together before. This particular line for the West, Bronco Segota playing with Steve Jungle, playing with Gene Woolrich. It's so difficult for players, no matter what their skill level, to come in one day and have that instant communication. These guys are going to make an effort, but it does help when teammates can play together.
Tattoo tries to lead Ingram, but it's broken up. Remember, both of these teams started to arrive in yesterday, some Sunday night, but fog closed Chicago's airport, so one practice really for each team, and a lot of players could not be there. Segota. To Brian Quinn. His San Diego teammate, a shot. Bursic makes a good save to his left. Rolls it right side for Dwight Lodevegas. Still scoreless first quarter from Chicago Stadium. We hope you're enjoying the 7th annual Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Classic.
JP, getting back to the tactics of the game, it's a one-shot deal. In a one-shot game, both teams are looking for hot goalkeeping. They're looking to play the ball quickly out from the back, get through the midfield, and create some opportunities. You can't afford defensive mistakes.
Godfrey Ingram for Lodevegas. Opposite side, Casamani, last year's Rookie of the Year, already has more points than he had a year ago, by far. Granitza is broken up, and the West will bring it back. There's going to be a good run up on the left wing side by Segota. He'll get that pass, the shot, and the score from Brian Quinn, and you can see it coming on the good run by Segota.
And that's textbook soccer. Brian Quinn coming down the middle on a 3-on-2. He had Jungle on his right. He had Branko Segota on his left. Here's Quinn with a pass to Segota. Watch Segota's shot. Velocity, 110 miles an hour. That ball just overpowers David Bursic. Bursic taking good position on the shot, strictly being overpowered. Here's Quinn looking for his options. Dishes it off to Segota. Watch the velocity on it. David Bursic actually falling back on his heels. Just too much pace on that shot.
We've got an official's timeout on the field. The West leads 1-0. We'll be back with more coverage of the 7th annual Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Classic in just a moment. Chinapu now for Tattoo, who leads the MISL in goals. He has 41. He had 59 last year. Chinapu blasts that one. That goes up into the crowd.
These guys are hitting cannons. Chinapu at the top of the point. He's just going to unload.
It's still 1-0. The West is leading here at Chicago Stadium. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Alan Mayer.
And I'm Karl-Heinz Granitza. We are opponents on the field, but we both agree that you will score big points as a member of the MISL fan club.
You get an MISL patch, a MISL magnet, and your favorite team's pennant and button. All this for just $5. What a great savings. Just like the ones I make, eh, Carl?
Except when I'm shooting.
To become a member, send $5 in the name of your favorite team to MISL Fan Club, 425 North Michigan, Chicago 60611.
9 assists, 19 points, but that stat doesn't show you the leadership that Victor Moreland has given to the Dallas Sidekicks.
You talk about Victor Moreland, you talk about a guy who got married at halftime of a soccer game. Does this guy think soccer? That's all he thinks. Great player.
And they thought you were flaky when you played. Woolrich wanting to get his own ball back, but it's broken up. And Tattoo is there for the East. East looking for their first goal. And they have a 3-on-2 as Tattoo hustles up, but Woolrich will make it 3-on-3 with a nice run back. Godfrey Ingram spinning to the middle. Broken up. West coming back. 1 second left. Rudbed knows it, cranks it, but that's it. A great first quarter of play. Not a lot of scoring, but the action was most definitely end-to-end. The West leads the East 1-0. We'll be right back. There's a list of the leading scorers in All-Star history. It's too bad we couldn't see Stan Stamenkovich tonight because he is bothered by a leg injury, but Steve Jungle has 10 points, and Segota now has 9. Tony Glavin, the assistant coach of the Steamers, with 7. Kai Ascovy and Paul Kitson with 7 each. Here's a look at our first quarter. The West out shooting the East 8-7. 3 saves for Slobo, 4 for David Bursic. The blocks are 4-3 West. The total fouls 2 apiece. There were no penalties. And interesting to note, Shep, that 1-0 score ties for the lowest scoring first quarter in All-Star history. Central over the Atlantic, 1-0 in 1980 at St. Louis. As we look at Kenny Cooper and some players that you played against when you played in these All-Star games.
Well, I think I was responsible for that, the Eastern Division having that losing record for so many years. But we get a good look at Kenny Cooper. Kenny Cooper is going to take that jacket off in the second half, roll up his sleeves, and go to work. This man wants to win the game. He's got 4 Baltimore players there, talking to his players on the bench about what to do in order to get that ball up quicker, out of the defensive third, and into scoring position.
I'm surprised the jacket's still on. Ball is played back to David Bursic. Our second quarter is underway. West leading the East 1-0. Nice turn for Tattoo, but nobody is there as he passed it right up the middle. Brian Quinn for Branko Segota. He has the only goal of the game thus far. Back for his San Diego Sockers teammate, Kevin Crow, now to Clavillo. And actually, Shep, 4 Sockers on the field, plus Jungle and ex-Soccer. So Ron Newman and his assistant Roy Turner going with familiarity. 7th annual All-Star game and a chance, Shep, for the East.
Well, Mike Stankovic on the run, and there is Slotzer with the left foot. He puts that ball low, and that's the proper way to beat a goalkeeper. Shoot high to the near post, shoot low to the far post. Mike Stankovic just missing it, as we get a good look at part of the crowd holding up a "We Love" tattoo.
West leads 1-0. There's your time remaining in the quarter, 6 minutes. The longest the East has gone scoreless in an All-Star game is 9:31 of the second quarter. We're 32 seconds away from that. Doc Lawson, your former teammate, scored from another ex-teammate, Fred Gerger. We look at Kenny Cooper, 4th consecutive year leading the East All-Stars. Great coach, but in the All-Star games, he hasn't been all that lucky. However, he has won the only game that the East has won, and he did it in 1984, an 8-6 win.
Well, it's so frustrating because if you look down on the field, there's not that much difference in talent between the East and the West. It's a jinx, it's luck, call it whatever you will, but there's no way Kenny Cooper believes that's an accurate record.
Peter Ward shoots that one upstairs, has a few fans ducking, and the West will get the ball with a goal kick. I see a familiar name here on the All-Star history list, Shep, and I see you in a couple of categories there that maybe are not all that great.
Well, I think there are 9 goalkeeping records in terms of All-Star games. I hold 6 of them, and all of them are negative. Most goals in a game, most goals in a half. It's a lot easier being up here. At any rate, I still would like to see the East crack one in and get back in the ball game.
Clavillo will give it to Steve Jungle. It's still a 1-0 West lead. It's got to be difficult for a goalkeeper to face this kind of an offense, Shep, especially when really defense is usually the last thing you think about in an All-Star game.
Well, it really is. It's easier for the offensive players to get on track. It's a defender's nightmare, really, to play in the All-Star game.
Clavillo, nice couple of moves. Batata, blocked. Bursic got a hand on it. Batata, nice back heel. Clavillo now will lose it. He wasn't expecting that feed from Batata, it looked like. Part of the communication problems in an All-Star Classic. Jerry Gray for Granitza. Now it's Peter Ward looking to make his move. Forced back by Batata. Now to Bruce Savage. 3 Chicago players, 2 Baltimore players out there, along with David Bursic of Pittsburgh. Savage making his own ball. For Stankovic, Ward's going to be wide open. Granitza sees him, hits him. Ward right in the box. Stankovic is blocked by Fernando Clavillo. May have saved a goal there. So as we look at Mike Stankovic walking off, 4:43 to go here in the second quarter. The East coming closer, but it's still the West on top. Before halftime, our lowest scoring game, All-Star history-wise, was in 1981 in the first half, a 2-2 tie in Madison Square Garden. The West eventually won that 8-5. As we look at Slobo Ilievsky, the man that revolutionized goalkeepers coming out and actually not just defending, but helping the offense.
Well, really, when you look at David Bursic in goal for the East, he's a pure goalkeeper in terms of style. Slobo revolutionizing the art of goalkeeping indoor, coming out, using his feet, making a big kick save.
Good reverse. Moreland to Lola Vegas. Nice cut. The shot off the post and in. And it's tied at 1.
Dwight Lola Vegas. This crowd erupts. Chicago being in the Eastern Division, the hometown crowd for the East today. But Dwight Lola Vegas. Slobo was screamed on the shot. Watch Dwight one-on-one, take Clavillo out, and now watch 2 players in front of Slobo Ilievsky. And again, to beat a goalkeeper, shoot low to the far post, high to the near post. Here's Lola Vegas. Gray right in front of Slobo. That ball like a rocket into the far corner, down low with velocity. And we have a 1-1 game.
Good individual move by Lola Vegas, playing in his first All-Star game. And remember, it was Victor Moreland who fed him on the nice reverse from the opposite side of the field. So at 11-10, Lola Vegas from Moreland. Bellinger going down. Tattoo will get it. Let's see what that goal might do to the East. See if it picks them up. Dumbovic. Right side, Jerry Gray. In the corner for Whitman, who chested down. Timmy Whitman double team. Kept alive, though, by the East. And now knocked back to David Bursic. Jungle after him. Right side to Moreland. Crowd didn't like that. They played it back the other way. Sometimes that's the best way to attack, but the crowd wants him to go forward. Gray had a man open in the box. It was Dumbovic. Now Roberts off the boards. Bursic has to come out after it. To Tim Whitman. Reverses for Neil Roberts. 2:40 to go before the half, and it's tied at 1 from Chicago Stadium. Tattoo trying to get it in the box, knocked away by Bellinger. Schiraldi kicks it. Bellinger heads it the other way.
And again, just a case of trying to do too much. Tattoo trying to thread the eye of the needle on that pass. Maybe he would have been better off just trying to unload a shot. You can't do the impossible in an all-star game. You have to try and keep it simple.
Chico Borja against Tim Whitman. The other way for Jungle. Wants it on the right foot. Nice defense by Neil Roberts. He still gets it free to Precki. A shot and a score by Borja in the far post. The West back on top.
And a great, great goal for the West. Steve Jungle attracting all kinds of attention and traffic at the top of the box. Watch Jungle start with the ball, draw one defender. He keeps the ball, and now he'll draw a second defender, Whitman. He slots the ball down into the corner. Precki to Borja. Goal. Great goal for the West. Jungle again making it all happen by drawing 2-on-1 coverage. And now Borja at the back post. Chico Borja just taps it in. David Versich, no chance as the West connects on an opportunistic goal. Opportunistic in that as soon as Steve Jungle attracted 2 players, he made that goal happen.
And unlike hockey, you only give out 1 assist, Jeff. If you give out 2, it's Jungle. So here's a guy who doesn't even get a point, yet he does all the work to set up Precki. The attention he got was what made Precki so wide open.
And again, Precki, realizing that Jungle was going to draw 2 players, held his position in the corner, waiting for that pass. A great goal by the West squad.
Now it is Savage the turnaround off the boards. Loose ball! And Slobo took that one in the stomach. He may have thought about what he had for lunch earlier today with that kick. Stankovic stole it. It's 2-on-1. Borja and Rasmussen, teammates with the Wichita Wings. Rasmussen didn't get a good ball. Doesn't give Borja one. Segota, who can do it all. Lays it back on. I'm surprised. The West had a 2-on-1, and they're still looking for a shot. Borja right up the middle, knocked away by Peter Ward. That goal really picked up the West. Rasmussen, who can turn as well as any player in this league. Looking at it straight on. Segota trying to lead it for Woolridge. Broken up by Granitza. Taken down. It's a foul. That'll be the foul called on the West. The East puts it back in play quickly. 3 fouls apiece. Bruce Savage. Less than a minute to go. First half of play. Chinipu with a right foot. Broken up. Rasmussen getting it. Back the other way. Rasmussen hitting the deck. Play goes on. Peter Ward with a chance here. And he stumbled over the ball. And now it's taken back the other way. The West 2-on-3. Now 3-on-3. Jungle on. Knocked away. Mike Stankovic just stepped right in front and took the ball away. Ward now stripped of the ball. Savage for Granitza. 30 seconds left before halftime. Stankovic. Jungle after him. A shot. Nice save off the right foot of Ilievsky.
Again, Stankovic taking that spot at the top of the box. Cracking the shot. Slobo with a kick save.
Versich knocking it out for Savage. That last goal coming at 12. Leading the East 2-1 here at Chicago Stadium. And here's a look at why the West is leading.
Brian Quinn, one of my favorite players in the league for his unselfish play. Watch him dish this ball off to the laser, Branko Segota. He unwinds with a left foot. And again, the rule to beat a goalkeeper, high to the near post like Branko did, or low to the far post. The next goal that got the East back into the game started out and ended up with Dwight Lodoegas taking on Fernando Clavijo, deking him and then cracking it with the left foot. Slobo Ilievsky really screened by 2 Western defenders. No chance at all for that shot. And watch Steve Jungle, the lord of all indoors. He takes 2 players, gets it to Precki, Precki to Borja. Borja taps it in at the far post. No chance for David Versich, and we have a 2-1 game, the West over the East.
The leading shooter for the East, Mike Stankovic, has 5 shots. As we look at the rest of the halftime stats, East out shooting the West 19-12. Give 8 saves for Slobo Ilievsky and 5 to David Versich. That's what they will finish up with, barring injury, because we've got new goalkeepers coming in. Let's talk about the different styles. Alan Mayer, the helmeted goalkeeper, and Tino Lettieri bringing out, it looks like, Shep, Ozzie, too, the parrot that has been banned from the regular season. But this is an all-star game. It doesn't count, right?
Here's a good look at Tino. Nobody ever said goalkeepers are normal, but Tino certainly is a wonderful goalkeeper. He's got that parrot back in the net. When you look at Tino Lettieri and Alan Mayer, they're both very similar, as we have the official now.
He's got to eject it. You know what happened? The crowd started to say something, and Tino put his first finger up to say, you know, shh, don't say anything. I'll tell you what, that's a hot souvenir in Minnesota. That sells.
What a character. Bill Maxwell, the official, comes over. Tino Lettieri with a nice gesture to the crowd, tosses that parrot into the stands. And there's a very happy woman with a souvenir. Tino, an aggressive, quick goalkeeper. There's his good luck charm. Ozzie, too, the parrot. And there's a fan for life of the MISL and Tino Lettieri. But the game is underway. Both Alan Mayer in goal and Tino Lettieri, both aggressive, physical, gambling goalkeepers. Very difficult to come in cold in the second half, but it's an all-star game.
Alan Mayer wearing the helmet, the only goalkeeper in the MISL to do it. A couple of others have tried it in the past, but Mayer has stuck with it for the last several years, whether he plays indoors or out. It's a give and go, and Drago fanned on it, but Quinn, you got to give him credit to stop him. Jungle on the break, Preki cutting to the left, cuts it across for Preki a bit too far in front. Sam Bick, open man, Quinn for Jungle, unselfish play, look at this. Bick after it, bicycle kick by Jim Whitman. In his first All-Star game, Whitman, one of the younger players out there in the field at the age of 22. Preki on the intercept. Jungle may get a chance. Pumps it in. Steve Jungle has now scored in all 6 of his All-Star appearances in the West. Leads 3-1 in the difference. Shep, they're capitalizing on their chances. The East is not.
Well, that's tenacity. Vintage Steve Jungle. He had 2 great opportunities. He couldn't connect. Now he gets a through ball. Watch him poke it through the legs of Tino Lettieri. Tino, nothing he could do but come out, try and cut down the angle. Jungle with such fine touch on the ball, waited for Tino to commit, and then poked it in.
So the West leads by their biggest margin of the night. The West 3, the East 1. Will be coming right back to Chicago. Stay with us. Looking for Granitza. Casamani was open. Nobody saw him. Ward the shot. Blocked straight out. Roberts and Brian scores! Neil Roberts.
And the Chicago connection. Karl-Heinz Granitza dishes that ball off the boards, and Neil Roberts cracks it in the upper corner. No chance at all for Mayer, and it gets the East back in the game. Watch Granitza dish it into the corner. This ball comes out to Neil Roberts, and first time with a left foot up in the corner, and this crowd in Chicago goes wild.
Most of the goals that I've seen Neil Roberts score, he gets with the right foot, but the left foot really was a solid one that time as he cranked it. No chance for Alan Mayer. The West still leads, but only by 1, 3-2. Maybe the East will come back. Backhill's in, look at that. Great save, Lettieri. Oh, that's unbelievable. That goes on a highlight film. It comes back the other way. A shot save again. Tino Lettieri will own this crowd. How? I got to ask you, you're the goalkeeper. How does he stop that? That's going in.
Well, it's a cardinal rule for a goalkeeper. Never give up. Branco to go to hit a back heel. Tino got a piece of it. And like all great goalkeepers, let's watch Branco with a back heel. Tino doesn't quit on the ball. He doesn't quit. He goes back. That entire ball must be across the line. Tino never says die, and he just gets back and pushes that ball out of the goal. Great, great effort by a great goalkeeper.
And as we brag about that, the West just took their 6th foul, so the East will have a power play. When we come back, they trail by 1. The West leads 3-2.
Yes. With these fans of Chicago, as does their owner, the colorful Lee Stern.
On the left side, it's Granitza for Jerry Gray, part of the Chicago connection. Tattoo hanging around the far post. Granitza shot. Ward after it. Mayer lost it. It's loose. It's still loose. They're waving it off. Marty Templin waved it off long before. Well, we'll see what the argument is, Shep.
We see the official right on top of it. Marty Templin in the back of Bill Maxwell waved that off immediately. Let's watch this ball. Deflected up in the air. Mayer goes up for it. Here's the contact. Here's the contact on Mayer. That ball still bobbling, still loose, finally poked in the goal, but that play had been waved off on the initial contact with Mayer.
I didn't see the signal. I thought initially maybe Ward got a handball on it, and then that collision, it could have been a dangerous play on Tattoo, but I never saw a signal. But either way, there was a foul, and the officials never hesitated. If they don't hesitate, they make that judgment call. It's tough to fault, and Marty Templin was right in there.
There's no doubt. They were right on top of the play. There was contact with Alan Mayer. I believe Tattoo got a kick in. Certainly when you see that ball end up in the goal, it's going to create confusion. But they were on top of the play. They called it immediately.
Savage to Tattoo. Ward, great save, Alan Mayer. Oh, the goalkeepers are starting to shine. Tattoo taken to the boards by Clemillo. Tattoo wants a quick restart.
And I'll tell you, we saw Tino with that big, exciting save, but Alan Mayer has come up big 2 or 3 times.
Sure has. Ward in the box for Tattoo. Block. Tattoo! The turnaround shot was wide. Not by much. Well, we're starting to see the game pick up again. Brian Quinn with a nice move. He had Rudbin breaking. Chittipu saved the breakaway attempt. Richard Chittipu back the other way. Still on the power play. Tattoo scores!
This is a great player, and this is a great scene. Look at the fans imitating Tattoo.
Conquest will go to the most valuable player of the game, and Stan Stamenkovic can't drive this one home. He won the last 3 years, but an injury, unfortunately, has kept him out of this game. A lot of great candidates, and the Professional Soccer Reporters Association will have a chance to pick who may consider their most valuable player.
And you know, JP, the players recognize Dodge's contribution. They know a car is on the line for the MVP. They also know they have very little chance of winning that car if they're not playing on the winning team. As a result, these guys are out first to have their squad win the game, and then second, they'll think about the car.
Look at these stats, Shep. The East has outshot the West 31-17 on the saves. Give the East 8-14 for the West.
We saw a hot quarter by both goalkeepers. Tino making a miraculous save off the line that really excited, electrified this crowd. But don't underestimate what Alan Mayer did. Although he gave 2 goals in that the third quarter, he came up with 3 or 4 big saves that had goal written all over them.
Attendance here in Chicago, 12,456. This is one of the greatest buildings in the MISL in terms of atmosphere. Whether it's a Chicago Sting game or a Blackhawk hockey game, a Bulls basketball game, it's an old building. The acoustics are unbelievable. And when a player scores a goal in here and you put 12,000 people in here, there may as well be 50,000. That's how deafening the noise level is.
Well, we got to look at Ron Newman. He's not happy. His team really was controlling things defensively, although being outshot by a wide margin. They were really poised, under control, counterattacking. All of a sudden, bang, bang, it's a tie game.
Almost like a second win after the last couple of goals. They've got the momentum. Now it is number 5, Tony Bellinger, for Brian Quinn. Looking, can't thread the needle. Chittipu is there. The East reversing it now for Tim Whitman. Good work rate all night by these All-Stars. Roberts off the boards for Tim Whitman. Right back the other way it goes for Tino Lettieri. Chicago fans can relate to the headband. That's what Jim McMahon of the Bears wore and made famous. Look at Lettieri, how far out he comes. Intercepted. Schiraldi has some open net, gives it to Jungle. Steve Jungle right back, Segota will score. So Lettieri makes his first mistake of the night, and it cost him.
Whoa! You watch Steve Jungle and Branko Segota lurking at the red line. Tino Lettieri, undecided. He gave a bad ball. Now he's racing back to get into the goal. Steve Jungle dishes it off to Branko. Branko slots that ball home, all created by the confusion. Watch Tino trying to get back in goal, backpedaling. The ball over to Branko Segota. Segota cracks number 2 for the game, and that puts the West back on top.
If you're a goalkeeper and you vacated your net and it's empty, the last guy you want to see, and correct me if I'm wrong, is number 7.
Well, the mistake happened in the midfield for a goalkeeper. As soon as Tino crossed that red line, what he was trying to do was send the ball long into the corner. Once he crosses that red line, he's free to dish the ball all the way down the field. Instead, he made a pass that was intercepted in the midfield, and look at smiling Branko Segota. He'll take a gift like that anytime at all.
And in his bid to try and help his team offensively, that time it cost him. But Tino Lettieri has had a great night, I think, so far in the second half for the East. And in fact, if the East wins it, he's one of those people that could drive off in a new car.
The beauty about indoor soccer for a goalkeeper, as for every other player, you can make a mistake Tino's still got 10 minutes and 7 seconds left in this quarter to atone for it. He's certainly done a whale of a job in the third quarter and kept his team in the game.
Peter Ward from Karl-Heinz Granitza. Tattoo. For Ward. A little space. Peter Ward, a shot off the far post. He didn't miss by much.
Mayer got a piece of that one. Chinapu on the ball.
Chinapu looking. Blocked by Mayer. It's loose. Savage went for it. Good tackle by Quinn to knock it away. Stankovic, and we've got a whistle. From the other way, Alan Mayer apparently was hurt. I didn't see that, Chip, did you?
I'll tell you what, Alan Mayer being the competitor that he is, if he didn't get kicked, it's an excellent time to go down on the ground and get a break. He certainly does look hurt. Here's Ward winding up, cracking with left foot. Alan Mayer gets a piece of this ball, touches it wide. Perhaps he's playing with bruised ribs. Now we watch Chinapu. He's going to come in and crack another one at the near post. Maybe that's the one that took Allen down. Watch Chinapu come to the near post. He's going to unwind, crack it. Mayer down again with a save. Alan Mayer has been playing all season long with assorted injuries, a cracked rib, a shoulder. He's down there holding his midsection, and I know Alan Mayer has been playing all season long with bruised ribs. Looks like he got a shot there again.
He's one of the toughest keepers in the major indoor soccer league. He's missed 6 games already this year, but a great competitor is Alan Mayer. And hopefully he'll be back to finish this game. The game still picking up in its excitement. 4-3, the West leading with less than 4 minutes to go. We'll be right back.
It's everything you want to know about the Major Indoor Soccer League. For indoor soccer fans, the MISL Media Guide is the ideal ticket and way to follow the league. It includes team rosters, facts and statistics on each team's players, top scorers and goalkeepers throughout the league's history, and a wealth of information about everyone who ever played in the league. All this plus player in action photos for just $8. To get the guide, send a check to MISL Guide, 425 North Michigan Avenue, Chicago, 60611.
Okay, that was Bruce Snell, who is Tacoma's trainer. He is the trainer for the West. We should give these guys some credit as well. Jerry Carter is representing the Eastern team. As we look on our board, our next game, Tacoma versus Kansas City. I'm anxious to watch that one or do that one myself, Chef. Sunday, March 2nd at 4 p.m. I want to see what Tacoma is like with Steve Jungle and Keith Murphy now on that squad.
Well, for our new viewers tonight, you got a taste of it.
We almost got caught there. Tattoo. No foul. The crowd wanted one. Stankovic on the intercept. This one's not over yet. Foul as that was shoulder to shoulder. They go against the West. That's their third foul.
Brian Quinn, a tough, hustling player. Really, he didn't stand out. He's one of my votes for the MVP. He's had an impact on this game today.
Stankovic to Tattoo. Can he turn? He dishes it off. Shot high and wide by Jerry Gray. Jungle. What a great back heel. How do they do that? Cleared back by Savage to Letary. More importantly, how do you defend against that? Bruce Savage for Stankovic. 3:25 to go. 7 of the 8 West points have been scored by players on either Tacoma or San Diego. 4-3, the West is leading. Godfrey Ingram. Deeks to the outside. Leaves it for Stankovic. Mike with that powerful right foot. Brings it to his left. Back right. For Savage. In the corner, Gray off the boards. Mayer got a piece, it's loose, and he got the rest. Good recovery by Alan Mayer.
Alan Mayer, super athlete. That clock's winding down under 3 minutes. Now the West again on a counterattack, but we have to look at the East bench and see if Coach Willie Roy and Ken Cooper are going to pull their goalkeeper and go with the 6th attacker.
You anticipated my next question for you. That must come from working together so often.
Right now, Kenny Cooper and Willie Roy shouting, get the ball back, call a timeout. We're going to go with the 6th attacker.
The whole bench was pointing that way, and finally, everybody sees him. I saw 6 or 7 players, plus Kenny Cooper, who was in those rolled-up shirt sleeves and the unloosened tie, telling his players that, and I'm sure that we're going to see just that. We'll have to wait and see who that 6th attacker might be. Let us remind you that even though this is the All-Star break, we talked earlier about the standings. Baltimore in first, Cleveland not far behind, Minnesota, the game or so off there. Then you have Dallas, Pittsburgh, and Chicago. But of all those teams, Shep, Chicago has won 5 straight, 4 of them by 1 goal.
Well, every team in the Eastern Division has their eye on Chicago. Despite being in last place, they know the talent on the Chicago Sting. Chicago putting together 5 victories in a row. There's some people looking over their shoulders.
And in the West, San Diego on top. They're not having a lot of competition in the West, but the competition really heats up for the rest of the West, basically. And then you have Wichita, then St. Louis, Tacoma. Tacoma would have been a pick to go maybe as high as second, and they still might, but then Mike Dowler got injured, and that was a tough break. He's one of the better goalkeepers in the entire league as we look at Kenny Cooper the other way. So Tacoma still with a chance to go the other way. We see Jerry Gray donning the 6th attacker jersey, and you could maybe explain that to some of our new viewers how this works.
Well, we talked about the work ethic of Kenny Cooper. We saw him there in his shirt sleeves, his tie unloosened. Jerry Gray will now put on the goalkeeper's jersey. That means he's putting on gloves as well. He has goalkeeper privileges, although that's not what he's in the game for. It's a 6th attacker. In hockey, you pull your goaltender and go with 6 skaters. In soccer, you put a designated player in the goal, although Jerry Gray, in this case, his job is to go forward, be the point man on attack.
Why did Kenny Cooper pick Jerry Gray or Willie Roy? What do you look for?
The decision by the coach is to look for their playmaker, their quarterback. Jerry Gray being a midfield player for the Chicago Sting, an all-around good athlete. He's the best player in terms of dishing the ball off, being the quarterback on attack.
Let's see what he can do. That'll bring the house down if the East can score one here to tie it. Chinapoo for Tattoo. Give and go. Nope. Dumbovic to Chinapoo blocked. The net is open the other way as Chinapoo hustles back and wins the ball. Jerry Gray for Tattoo. Knocked down by Clavio. Quinn there. Tattoo knocks it away into the corner for Crow.
And the danger with this Western squad, under 2 minutes to go in the game, if they win the ball, they're most likely going to take that ball and put it down at the other end. So the East, it's do or die. You're going to live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. They've got to go forward and capitalize.
Jerry Gray, 1:45 left in regulation. Tattoo in the box. Dumbovic! Oh, it was headed wide by Granitza. Great opportunity. Now it's to go to the other way. Stopped by Lota Vegas, and it goes into the West bench.
And that ball right in the goal mouth, down to the point in the slot. Granitza ended up getting a head on it. The West dodged a bullet.
Great opportunity that time for these. Let's see what happens.
Well, there's the play coming into the box. Dumbovic gets a piece of the ball. Over to Granitza. What's Granitza? An open goal. He just could not get behind the ball and head it towards goal.
Looked like on a replay that he may not have expected it to come across that way.
Well, it wasn't an intended pass. That ball ricocheted and shot loose, and there was Karl-Heinz with an open net in front of him. He just couldn't get over the ball and put it in.
Kevin Crow, but he's blocked by Stankovic. Now Savage is on. It's played back for Jerry Gray. The East has a job to do. 1:25 to score the tying goal. Listen to the crowd in Chicago. Lota Vegas, who has 1 goal tonight. Gray for Granitza. Lota Vegas. Karl-Heinz. Knocked away by Clavio. Sent the other way. Tattoo will get there. Oh, it hops over him. Took a bad hop. Jungle. Toes it ahead. Look at the speed of Clavio. The net is open. He shot it wide. Jungle. The rebound. No chance there for anyone. Steve Jungle won't miss from there. He gets his 2nd goal of the game, and that should just about do it, even though there's still 54 seconds left.
Well, I'll tell you, JP, there is a lot of time left. Steve Jungle capitalizing on the speed and quickness of Fernando Clavijo. That ball was lost. Watch Clavijo outrun everybody. But now he doesn't put the ball in. Right off the Budweiser sign, and here comes Steve Jungle. There's no way Jerry Gray is stopping Steve Jungle as he buries that one in. Again, Clavio off the boards, and now Jungle into the box. Jerry Gray, not a goalkeeper, and Jungle cracks it into the back of the net.
But as we saw in the replay, it's not a good ball that comes back off the boards. It just shows you the greatness again of a Steve Jungle. He has enough time to settle it and get off a good shot. Sort of separates the men from the boys. Steve Jungle, who has done it all in the Major Indoor Soccer League. Or as John Best referred to him when he signed him with Tacoma, he is the Wayne Gretzky of indoor soccer. Ball is played upfield now for Dumbovic. Now for Karl-Heinz Granitza. Broken up. The West getting it back. They lead now 5-3. That last goal was Jungle's at 14:06, his 2nd of the game from Clavio. Ball is cleared back to Kevin Crow. 30 seconds are left in the game. Crow will send it over 3 lines in the air, so it will go back the other way. Shep Messing making his way down to the field. We hope to bring you at least an interview on the Chicago Stadium carpet once this game is over. West leading 5-3. We'll also tell you who's the most valuable player. A Chinapoo shot is blocked. Comes back out of the red line. Lota Vegas with pressure. Tattoo. Nice cut. He's open. In the box, Dubovich is robbed by Alan Mayer. I think Alan Mayer wants that Dodge Conquest. Quinn the other way. Blocked. Jerry Gray coming back. 7 seconds. In the box. Tattoo has Mayer coming out. Shot blocked. Rebound. Granitza was blocked. Kim Rundved saved it on the goal line. And that's it. The game ends just about the way it started, with all kinds of excitement. Kim Rundved stopping the ball on the goal line for the West. And how big that would have been if it was only a 1-goal margin at the time, but it was not. It was the West who was leading 5-3 at the time, as we look at Alan Mayer getting congratulations from his teammates. He had a nice effort here tonight. And there's Branko Segota, who had 2 goals, including a game winner, and a guy that could very well have the keys to the Dodge Conquest.
He had 2 goals. Nobody else did.
We're going to wait.
We're
going to wait, and I guess we're going to come right back, and we'll go down on the field when we do to Shep Messing. So stay with us. Our All-Star Soccer coverage will resume from Chicago. The West has won 5-3. Shep and I return in a moment. Welcome back to Chicago Stadium. I'm John Paul Della Camera, and the East outshot the West 36-23, but you see by the scoreboard that the West has won it 5-3, and a most fitting, most valuable player award has gone to this man, Branko Segota. It is the Budweiser Most Valuable Player Award, and he acknowledges the cheers from the crowd. Some say Segota should have won the Dodge Conquest last year. Others have said Steve Jungle. No discredit meant to the eventual winner, Stan Stamenkovic, but Branko Segota really had a great All-Star game last year. He is one of the rising stars of the MISL. Some say he is the heir apparent to Steve Jungle. Branko Segota with a couple of goals tonight, and he was definitely a key factor. And we'll take a look at one of those goals, and then we'll be talking with Branko momentarily as we watch Steve Jungle. This is the play where Lettieri got caught back. Segota buries it to the far post, beating Lettieri for the goal that ended up as the game winner. That was the 4th goal that the West was going to score. Gino Schiraldi giving him a congratulatory hug. When we come back, Shep Messing, my color commentator, will be chatting with the game's most valuable player, Branko Segota. Stay with us. Once again, the West is a winner, 5-3. Welcome back to Chicago Stadium. I'm John Paul Della Camera. The West was a winner 5-3, thanks largely to the exploits of Branko Segota. And here to interview him is his former teammate, Shep Messing. Shep?
Thank you, JP. Branko, a long way since the teenager I knew that came to New York a few years ago. Congratulations on the MVP. Give me your thoughts on the game.
Well, I thought, this is supposed to be a fun game, put on a show for the people. And I think the East, they took it a little bit serious and played kind of a defensive game. But we wanted to show the flair and score goals, and we weren't quite able to do it. But I'm sure that the people really liked the game.
There's no doubt about it. Branko, give me your thoughts on Steve Jungle leaving the team. I know a lot of people are concerned. You make such a great team with Steve. I predict you're going to be a star for many more years. How will it affect you, Steve Jungle no longer being your teammate?
I think, right now I just have to get over it because we've been together for so long. And it's kind of lonely with him out there because we do put a good 1-2 punch there. And I'm just going to have to get used to him not being there.
Congratulations to Branko Segota, MVP of the 7th All-Star Classic.
Let's take a look at the goal that was scored by Branko Segota earlier. Cracking it so hard that there's not much David Bursic can do. It dents the Budweiser sign, and that was the first goal of the game, scored at 7:04. Branko Segota, the 3rd leading scorer all time in Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star history. The West is a winner. We'll have an interview with the winning coach, Ron Newman, when Shep Messing and I return to Chicago. And welcome back to Chicago Stadium. I'm John Paul Della Camera. The West is a winner. 5-3 is the final score. Shep Messing is now standing by with the winning coach of the Western team, Ron Newman. Shep?
Ron, you've had unparalleled success in soccer in America. Now in the MISL, what is this, your 3rd victory as an All-Star coach?
I think it's 3, yeah, that's right, Shep.
Give me your thoughts about the game, Ron.
Well, I think it was a typical All-Star game. Lots of mistakes that makes the coaches wince because there's not a lot of organisation. You can't get it, but great skill. Some great goalkeeping both ends, some near misses, great goals, and a stout effort by everybody. And I think the main concern for everybody here that we will put on a good show for ESPN and the people in Chicago, and I think we're very satisfied with that.
There's no doubt about it. It came down to the wire. Any crazy thoughts going through your mind when they went to the sixth attacker?
Well, we know we're very good at putting the ball in the back of the net, and it's just you just hope that you got loaded dice, because it can go either way, and a little mistake and they're back in the game. But if we can break them open, we got the players that can put the ball away, and then the game's over. And that's the way it went. Thank goodness for us.
Congratulations, Ron Newman, winning coach in the 7th All-Star Classic. Back to you, JP.
Thank you, Shep. An all-star performance by Shep Messing. We'd like to thank the people that helped us here tonight in bringing you our 7th annual Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Classic from Chicago. First of all, the Director of Public Relations for the Major Indoor Soccer League, Joan Larnigan, to Len Komorowski of the Pittsburgh Spirit, who was our broadcast statistician upstairs. Lee Stern and the Chicago Sting organization did a fantastic job in hosting this All-Star Classic. And where would we be without producer Tom Williamson and our director Brian Sipe? And that will wrap things up here from Chicago Stadium. Glad you could be with us here on ESPN. The West has defeated the East by the score of 5-3. And the MISL on ESPN has been brought to you by Bud Light, the light beer with a first name and taste. Everything else is just a light. By Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get bet. It pays.